Welcome back. This is We Know Nothing, a new series we created to talk about all the things we don't know yet about Game of Thrones. Today we're going straight to the source with actor John Bradley, who plays Samwell Tarly. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Thank you for having me in.
Thank you so much for coming on. I don't know if you know this, but we put the set all nice and special for you. Got some furs so you could feel at home.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've been around so much fur. I kind of get withdrawal symptoms if I'm not around, so thank you for topping me off. I really appreciate it.
This makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Listen, the final season, it's upon us.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by I know you can't talk about the ending, but were you surprised by who ends up on the Iron Throne?
Do you know what? I've been thinking about this a lot lately because we wrapped so long ago. We've kind of got a bit of separation from it now, and we can look back on it as a time in our lives and really kind of contextualize it now. And I think that when going into that final season, when I got those scripts through, I think the major emotion I was feeling when I read the final episode was one of relief more than anything else, because I think, so many shows, I say so many shows, it's quite rare actually, but there have been a couple of examples where a show has been great all the way through and people have really invested a lot of time in it, and then the end has maybe just slightly missed the mark, and I think that if you get a bad ending, it kind of tarnishes everything you've seen before, and of course, when we knew that we had to promote the show, we have to come and do things like this, we were just dreading having an ending that we were ashamed of, or that we didn't want to talk about, or that we were not really looking forward to people seeing. So I think when we read the ending, it was just all about relief, man. It was just about, we are proud to send this out into the world, and we're proud to talk about it. And
could you at least promise me that it's not going to be like a Sopranos-esque final shot is just the empty throne, maybe a few people walking up to it, and then it goes black?
I'd say, well, kind of all I can say about it is that it definitely, definitively ends.
There is a choice. It ends. There is
an ending, yeah. There's very little left kind of ambiguous about it. And of course, that can work one of two ways. I personally love the Sopranos ending. I thought that, giving people the opportunity to kind of project their own thoughts and theories onto it. But in the case with the Sopranos, it's not really that ambiguous, because they've been planting seeds and planting clues about that ending that whole season. So I think it just makes people kind of reevaluate everything that they've seen so far, an ending like that. But we don't necessarily have an ending like that. Our ending is decisive and definitive and satisfying, yeah.
That is so wonderful to hear. Yeah. Let's talk about Samwell a little bit, my man. Yeah. You just alluded to, this show does like to break people's hearts.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to have Samwell make it this far?
Yeah, kind of surprised, and I think I became less and less surprised as time went on, because what this show is more than anything else is, as I've alluded to a second ago, it's kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair, and people who've put a lot of training in, people who've put a lot of time and effort into their bodies with their regular exercise and protein sources, they seem to be the ones that get killed off earliest. And poor old Sam, who barely lifts a finger without really having to, he's managed to make it this far.
That said, he's grown. He really felt like he came into his own in that last season. Really started leaning on his strengths, right? Yeah. Was that exciting for you to see the character grow and change in those ways?
It's really exciting, and what I found about Sam that I found the most interesting is people talk about his progression throughout the show, and people talk about what he's learned about himself and the way that he's grown in terms of his bravery and what he's willing to sacrifice and doing things according to his own moral compass. But I think it's not really about what he's learned, it's about what he's unlearned. Because I think he's always been brave. And the trouble with Sam is from the very day he was born, he was told that he was a coward. And he was told that he's a liability, and was told that he's worthless and he's never going to achieve anything. And I think if a child, especially a kind of sensitive child, hears that all the time, they're going to believe it. And when you first see Sam in season 1, he just believes all the bad stuff that he's been told about himself. And as he achieves more, as he falls in love and takes on the mantle of parenthood, kills a White Walker, kills a Thenn, shows himself to be brave, it's not that he's becoming brave. He's just, all of those layers of damage are being stripped away, and he's discovering his own bravery that was already in there at the same time as the audience. And yeah, that's the great thing about telly and kind of long-form telly. You can really stay with these characters for a long time, and to see all of them grow. Nobody finishes a season in the same place that they started it. Everybody grows, as you say, and I think that Sam is one of the biggest growers in the show.
I love what you said. He had to unlearn things, discover things that were already in himself. That said, do you think he's going to start maybe doing a bit of a better job listening to Gilly here in the final season?
You know what? People are obsessed with this, and I've often said, you know, a lot of people said that Sam took a lot of the praise for Gilly finding out about Jon Snow and stuff, but I didn't see Jorah Mormont going back to Daenerys and saying a guy called Samwell Tarly cured me of grayscale. You know what I mean? I think Sam's been conned out of a little bit of gratitude there, and conned out of a little bit of kudos. So I think as long as he gets a bit of kudos from somewhere else, and you know, I mean, not meaning to rail on Gilly here, but you know what, I will. She read that out not knowing what it meant. Okay. When she discovered it, she was just saying it because she was happy that she's able to read. So she wasn't saying it thinking it was significant. It was Sam who knows how significant. I'm getting angry.
You are here to defend Sam.
It was Sam who knows how significant it is. So, okay, the best I'm willing to say is that it was a 50-50.
You're going to give...
She might have read it, but she didn't know what it means. I didn't read it, but I know what it means.
You're going to give 50-50, and I'm going to say kudos, right?
Yeah.
It's in the English language accent.
Kudos, yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I love that. All right, perfect. Man, you must... A lot of people, I feel like, especially with long-form television like you're talking about, have a hard time separating the character from the actors.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, any crazy experiences of people coming up to you or just, like, really, you know, treating you like you are Sam?
I had a thing once where a guy came up to me and said, because of my character on Game of Thrones and because of his story arc, he had the confidence to ask the girl out that he'd liked for years and years, and he'd never had the bravery to do it before. He never had the courage to do it because he was worried about being rejected. And he said when he saw Sam grow like that and become able to do that kind of stuff, he really learned from that. And then he asked her out and she said yes, and then they were a couple. And I hope they still are.
And it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Helped him maybe unlearn some of those lessons about himself that he had learned. I love that very much. One last question, because, again, we're having you on, and I know we can't ask about spoilers or anything like that, but you've been keeping secrets for so long for this show.
Oh, my God.
Was there ever anybody in your life, family, something, where you just, you broke down and you gave them a little secret? You let them in on anything?
No, genuinely not. I'm very good at being tight-lipped about it because I'm always, ever since I was a child, I've always been very scared of breaking the rules. I've got a real phobia about getting in trouble. If I feel that I'm in trouble, I can't really cope with it.
I love it. All right, listen, before we let you go here, we do have one quick game that we want to play because you don't get to choose who's going to be on the Iron Throne, right? Absolutely. So we want to give you a little bit of that power. We're going to have you pick a name from this bowl, all right?
Yeah.
And then basically you're like a campaign manager, okay? So for 10 seconds, we want you to pitch why you think this person would be great for the Iron Throne. And just to be clear, this is not a character from the show, but it's also not jerks. You're not going to have to be...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got you covered. Okay.
Campaign trails for jerks seem to work.
Yeah, in this country, yeah, you're right. Well, both sides, yeah. All right, so go ahead. Pick a name real quick.
Okay. So do I say what it is?
Yeah. You say it out loud.
Okay. Meghan Markle.
Awesome. All right. Okay. And we got this one right here. Can you hold it up just real quick? And it's just going to be like hold it up like this and then 10 seconds why you think she would be great to sit on the Iron Throne.
Okay.
Yeah. You can do it right here.
Right. I've known actors all my life. I know how incapable they are. I know how shallow they are. And I know how much I wouldn't trust so many of them with anything of mine. So the fact that
no, keep going.
So the fact that this seems to be a very special one, a special one who's achieved more than you could ever hope to do. She's now in part of the British royal family. I say that says something about her likability. I say that says something about her ambition. I say that's something about her as a person, which I'm very happy to throw my vote behind.
Well done. Come on, give it up. Yeah. My man, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was such a delightful conversation. You're absolutely wonderful. And congrats on kind of closing the chapter on this wonderful part of your life, man.
Thank you so much.
It's really impressive. Of course, we'll continue this series, We Know Nothing, all week long. And we'll probably still know nothing until the premiere. Game of Thrones premieres on Sunday, April 14th on HBO. We'll be watching it. Sure you will be too. More AM to DM in just a moment.